Welcome, everybody. What's going on? Welcome to Coach Kirb Sports Talk with Kirby and Bergie. And we have a special guest tonight joining us from Virginia Beach, Virginia. First of all, hey, Bergie, how you doing? I got to say hello to my co-host first.
Hey, no worries, man, because this show has just gotten some instant credibility. So let's go ahead and get to the main show.
Absolutely. Well, joining us tonight, former Lawton Eisenhower All-State D lineman, former Oklahoma Sooner, and former NFL defensive lineman, Martin Chase. Martin, welcome.
How we doing, fellas? How we doing?
Man, we are doing well, and we're blessed, and we're just excited that we can touch base with you again.
Good deal. Good deal.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Oh yeah, it's nothing but love, like I said.
So you're fully retired now, right, Martin?
Yes, fully retired.
That's awesome.
Enjoying life. I could say the passion and the hard work of football has paid off in my life. So now I'm just taking it easy and enjoying life. And watching these other young men go through the same trials and tribulations that I went through.
Yeah, it's a little different world of athletics now. Go ahead, Bergie.
Yeah, hey, and that's awesome, man. We're very proud of you and just proud to be associated with you. And you did mention it, right? You had a nice long career in the NFL. Hopefully, it's paying dividends for you and your family. If you don't mind me asking, because it's a topic, right? Especially for parents trying to start their kids in football at young ages. Is there health, I guess, ramifications from your playing career that you are having to deal with daily? And once again, don't feel like you have to get into detail, but it's certainly something I think I think about with my son, and other followers and listeners might too. So how did as you sit there right now, how does your daily life, if at all, affected by your playing days?
I'll be honest, I have my aches and pains. I'm older now. But I can definitely say I've come out on the better end on the side of playing as long as I have. I think back, as everything that we have gone through as athletes today, it was we were the crash dummies of learning what to do today. And I think for most parents, there's more education, more information that help their children of any sport, from softball to golf. From a different side of mental health when it comes to sports, talking to your kids. There's a lot of stuff that we went through as young men and women that parents just didn't know. They supported us and gave us everything that they could to provide, something that we loved. But the little things behind it, taking care of your body, eating right, it all plays its part when you're going through this. And we're getting an opportunity to see LeBron James. I think we've all grown up now to see how he is taking care of himself this long and the longevity behind it.
Yeah, 41 years old and still can do it.
Yeah,
that's well said. And I think to your point, Chase, things that were allowed, I guess, back in the day are severely frowned upon and sometimes outlawed, with practice times, with the what temperatures you can practice in, some of the drills, and I'm looking at bull in the ring and some of those things, right? Like I feel like some of that stuff is highly frowned upon these days.
Those things is what made us the great football players of today. And I understand. I don't want any of these children to go through what my peers went through of the past, because we have more knowledge now. There's more, like I said, more information, and there's always 1,000 ways to skin a cat. And so the way we did it, we felt like it made us tougher and stronger, but you can still win a championship not driving your players into the ground.
Well said.
You're exactly right. I agree with that 100%. 100%. Man. Well, hey, let's get into your background here, Martin. Went to Lawton Ike, played in that heartbreaking state championship game that we talked with Spencer about last week against Norman. 14-3 going into the fourth. And then that was your junior. That was your junior year, correct? Senior year, you get recruited by Yep, junior year. Then your senior year, that was my first year coaching, by the way, your senior year. 30,
Yeah.
that's a long time ago, 30 some odd years ago. But we didn't get to the state championship game. If I recall right, we lost to Midwest City maybe in the playoffs that year.
Do we have opportunity if we beat Midwest City? What happens?
We would have gone to the semifinals against Lawton High.
Lawton High?
Yeah, we would have played Lawton High in the semis the next week.
Okay.
If I remember right.
Got you.
Either that or we could have seen them in the finals. Maybe we would have seen them in the – no, you know what? We would have played an East Side team in the semis, and then we could have – but they ended up losing, I think, to Tulsa Union the next week.
Yes. Okay. It's been so long, but I said,
Fuente.
Man, we were –
Is that Fuente?
Yeah, Justin.
Yeah.
Justin Fuente. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we were still a good team.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about your – oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, we had a really good team. We only lost 2 games. We were like 11-2, I think.
Yeah.
Or 10-2 or something. We got to the second round. Got screwed at Del City. Sorry, Martin Dean, but we got screwed at Del City and then lost in the playoffs to Midwest City. But anyway, Martin, tell us about your recruitment to OU. Any good stories that you can share?
I always go back and look back over my recruiting time of being in high school. And I can remember Coach Stiles. He would literally hide the letters from different schools in his office because he felt like I was going to get a big head. And, you know, if you ever met my mom, that was never going to be allowed in the Chase household. So, and I think towards the end, he was never, I mean, he ended up giving me all the letters that different schools were reaching out for me. And I never knew that all these schools were wanting me. But when I found out, it was exciting because, you grow up watching these schools every Saturday morning after you play, Friday night light football game. But during that time, it was, I was just going back over Coach Salmon, Lucius Salmon, Coach Gibbs, Coach Fulmer, Tennessee, Coach Erickson, Miami.
Miami.
And those 3 all visit. All the head coaches, those 3 head coaches came out to visit. And it was always knew I was going to Oklahoma. But I was always a fan of when it came to Reggie White and Warren Sapp, 2 of the greatest defensive tackles to play the game. So they were a reason why they were on my list. And
absolutely.
And so, but I always knew I wanted to be like one of the Salmon brothers and Tony Casillas and you can go on, Scott Evans, all the great defensive linemen that have played at Oklahoma. I've always dreamed about being a part and having my name imprinted with those guys. And Coach Salmon and Coach Gibbs came, and my mom, she made them a soul food that you would fall in love for. She gave them everything they could have. And I can remember Coach Gibbs, he never had collard greens. And he enjoyed them. Probably part of the coach spiel, but they really enjoyed their time there. I enjoyed them having them. And destiny was in after that. I became a Sooner, and here we are.
So nobody was doing the electric slide. No head coach was doing the electric slide with your family in the living room. I think it's a Nick Saban special tool he used for recruiting.
Nah, not at all. Back then, we didn't have any cell phones, so it was basically the phone would just stay ringing. It was the phone with the long cord back then. I think we all remember the cord.
Yes, sir.
Touch from
yes,
touch
sir.
the other corner of the house. And so the phone would just ring
That's right.
constantly,
Yeah.
trying to just trying to catch my mom to see if one of them could speak to me. But I always knew I was going to Oklahoma. Uh, I grew up, born and raised, Coach Switzer. I thought I was going to get to play for him, you know, and but it was a dream. If anybody knew me in Lawton, they knew where I was going.
That's awesome. Hey, what's the
I
most
like that
memorable
choice you
game?
made.
Yeah,
Go
that's
ahead.
a
I'm
good
sorry,
one.
Grant.
Hey, most memorable game in the Crimson and Cream for you?
Oh, it wasn't many. uh,
We'll get to that in a second.
wasn't many, but I'm gonna have to go. If you can go on YouTube and look up the Syracuse game, and
Oh yeah.
that game right there with McNabb was my first. I want to say my first 3-sack game, and that kind of catapulted me from for the rest of the season to I say I had 15 sacks. Oklahoma says I had 14 and a half. And so but it catapulted me from there on.
Martin, wasn't that the game that Donovan McNabb threw up on the right before a play, and he's under center and he
Yes.
throws up?
Man,
From
Oklahoma Heat, but that day was different. It was just different on that day. It was brutal that day.
Yeah, it
And
was. I was in the upper deck. It was hot.
it was hot. And like I said, we were born and raised in Oklahoma, but that day particular, I don't know how we made it through and won that game at the same time, to be honest with
It was
you.
hot.
But East Coast kids, they played their heart out, but it was that he was treacherous that day.
Yeah, it's like playing an Altus.
Yeah.
Hottest place in the world is Altus, Oklahoma.
Man.
That's exactly right.
No breeze at all.
Sure,
Hey, and I just, I was doing a little bit of background check on you, and you went in that historic 1998 draft, right? That 98 draft with, we had Peyton Manning,
Man.
Ryan Leaf.
If you go over
you
that
had
draft,
Charles Woodson.
yes.
Oh, I
there's
did.
Hall of
I did.
Famers
And I even
scattered
noticed.
through it.
Man,
Wow.
and Randy Moss went 21st that draft. I know he had some background stuff going on. R.W. McQuarters as an OSU guy, and then Marcus Nash. Marcus Nash
Yes,
brought up a name.
Marcus
I
Nash.
forgot about Marcus Nash.
Edmund
Hey,
Memorial.
there was a lot of Oklahoma kids scattered through there.
Yeah. Did you
That's awesome.
do you remember anything about that draft? I know it's probably a lot more hyped up and a lot more publicized now, maybe than it was back then. But did you get to have any interactions with some of those Hall of Famers in the draft process, combine, or anything like that?
Did we lose? Oh.
Like what's crazy about it, going through the process of getting drafted. I go back to being recruited. Me and Peyton were on the same trip when I went to go visit Tennessee.
Oh.
And
Wow.
And how small of a world of like, oh man. And to come across him during our NFL time and still, him remember me, I remember him, and because he's Peyton Manning. But it's kind of that thing of how good of a guy, he really is. He's a genuine guy. But the path of players and athletes and coming across your favorite players that you watch, growing up and coming past across these men.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So you got drafted by the Ravens in the fourth round?
Fifth round, first pick.
Fifth round. Okay. Yeah, that's awesome. Tell us a little bit about the NFL, man. What was that like? And I know it's different today than it was back in 1998, but tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's definitely different. Football is different. Like you said, training camp is different. 1998, Coach Marchabroda.
Wow.
Ted.
Yeah,
Teddy.
Ted Marchabroda, one of the toughest little men that you'll ever come across. And I can tell you about Snellenberg. They come from that old school. Coach Snellenberger, rest in
Yep.
peace. His training camps. All people who were coached under Snellenberg, we all have this thing that we just know with each other. Like, yeah, I know what you've been through. But I thought I was prepared of going into the NFL and being ready to do an NFL training camp. No, no, not at all. I learned that this is your job and this is what you're going to do every day. There is no class. There is no time for break. And it was rough. It was rough. I had a couple of teammates quit. It's like, because you do a 2-week, back then it was a 2-week rookie camp. And there's only probably 13 to 14 players. And everybody's doing all the positions and basically trying to get as many as reps before the vets come in, because basically the rookies are going to get shut down, and so and so you're burnt out before the vets even get there. And guess what? Now I have Tony Saragusa, rest in peace, a great man, mentor.
Yes, sir.
He doesn't want to take those reps, and so he passes on to you. And you're trying to catch your breath at the same time and still make this team. And so it was fun but difficult. I'm thankful for it. It's a part of the dream that came true. But I can go deeper on that. I mean, I got to play with Jonathan Ogden, Ray Lewis,
Oh,
those Hall of
man.
Famers, and what they had, I took from them, because it's a thing of everybody's not going to be a Hall of Famer or the opportunity to be one of those great name players. But what they gave me the opportunity of watching how hard they work was, how long do you want to give yourself a chance of playing this league? And I was blessed to play 8 years. And
We can still hear you. Uh-oh, looks like we lost.
Think we lost him. He'll be back. He'll be back.
Yeah, he'll be back. He'll be back. Hey, how cool is that, Coach Kirb? Just,
Man.
I know he's name dropping, but he's not name dropping. He's literally just sharing his experiences and the people he shared the field with, and those
Yeah,
are all
it's
recognizable
awesome, man.
names. Oh, there
There
he
he
is.
is.
There's the man.
He's
himself.
back.
Awesome.
He's back.
there we go. There we go. Yeah, that's what editing is going to be for.
That's okay. No, we're gonna let it roll.
Yeah, we're
Grant and I
letting
kept
go.
talking, so we're good.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
go ahead.
No, it was the Ravens. Other franchises that you had the fortune for playing for, and any one of those places, cities, teams give you some fond memories.
Definitely. The hard part about sports that people, you see on ESPN, someone being released on the clicker on the bottom. I got the fun part of that, of the career, as most of us do. But
Oh, wow.
it turned into a new opportunity, getting let go by the Ravens and then end up with the Saints. And that catapulted my opportunity of being in the league. The opportunity to play with the great Willie Roaf, Hall of Famer, Kansas City Chiefs. And
Man.
he was someone that I got the opportunity to work with one-on-one, going in the weight room and just watching how a professional worked. And I think he was always say, he's the first one that I realize the ones that you see become Hall of Famers, they have these superpowers that they make everything look easy of how
Yep.
strong they are, how fast they are. And there's a reason why they get picked at the top. Most of them don't pan out, but the ones that do, those are the special ones. And so from then on, getting let go, I didn't get let go, end up getting traded to Washington and end up when they're before the Commanders, Washington Redskins. And
They're
had
still
a
the
quick little
Redskins to
stint
me.
there. Yeah. I hope they go back. But
Me too.
that's just
Me
me.
too.
and
I agree. I agree.
and got to play with a bunch of young talent that was on that team. LeVar Arrington,
Wow.
few others, but just a quick time there. End up going to New York and got to play for my childhood team, New York Giants, and now I'm with Michael Strahan, and Michael Strahan is my roommate during training camp. Great guy,
Okay.
Wow.
great
That's
guy,
awesome.
and got an opportunity to learn things from him and take that and put it in my tool bag. And from New York, ended up going to Jacksonville and being coached by Coach Jack Del Rio. Good coach, young team, and that was my last stop in the NFL of 2006, and it was a fun ride, tough ride, but fun ride.
Awesome, man. That's awesome, man. You played with a lot of big name dudes, man. I guess I didn't realize that, but I love Michael Strahan, man. I
Oh
hated him
man,
when he was with the Giants because I'm a Cowboys fan, but it really hated that you played for the Giants and the Redskins, man. That's especially as a Cowboy fan. But no, man, that is really good. Hey guys, before we get into the Martin, I said 20 minutes. We're gonna go a few minutes over that. You all right with that?
yeah, yeah. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
Okay. Okay. Well, before we get your last take, we are joined by a special guest, a surprise
What?
guest.
Big
What just happened?
Brad,
Oh,
what's up, brother?
how are you, my friend?
I'm doing great, man. It's good to see you.
Man. It's good to see you,
Oh,
Big
that's
Martin,
awesome.
Big Chase.
Yes, man. I heard you got some children, man.
Hey,
Graduating.
just one.
Just
Just
one?
one,
Hey,
man.
that's all.
Just one.
Oh, that's all
But
that matters, man.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's
So
freaking awesome.
man, first off, man, I just want to say, man, it's good to see you. Has been quite a
Yeah,
while, but
Where you
wanted to
at?
say thanks for I'm at my house in more Oklahoma, about 7 minutes from
Yes, brother.
Soonerville.
Man, yeah.
Yeah. So how are
Okay.
you doing, my friend?
Oh, good deal. Yeah, you're right in Soonerland.
Yeah.
Oh, good deal, man.
yeah. I came up with this idea about
Oh
an
man,
hour
I'm
ago
good.
that I'm gonna bring
Healthy,
Spencer on for a few minutes.
strong, still just trying to work out, stay in shape, and stay away.
Yeah.
We
Oh,
lost
we
him
lost
again.
him again.
Did
Spencer,
we
you're
lose
going to have to
him?
tell him
He's
about
having a
you're going to have to tell him about your hip stuff when you get back on there,
No, I'm
Spencer.
not. No, I'm
Okay.
not. That's embarrassing.
No, it ain't.
God,
That's
embarrassing.
embarrassing.
Yeah, Bergie, I came up with that idea about an hour ago. So,
I'm
but
glad you
well,
did
we'll
that,
bring
man, because
Spencer
I
on.
know how much that they have mutual respect for each other. So that's awesome.
Absolutely. There you're back.
But yeah, man, life is good, brother.
Yeah, you're looking good, my friend. You're
Yeah,
looking
man,
really
life is
good.
good. Yeah, man. 51.
Hey,
A little bit of time in NFL, it'll take a toll on
Yeah. Yeah. I
I
can
bet.
imagine.
you.
hey, Spencer,
Man.
can you share us a story playing with Big Chase at Lot Nike? Is there a story that sticks out to you being his teammate that you'd like to share?
Man, shoot, where do I start, my friend?
Correct.
First off, I mean, if it wasn't as a how would I say this, as a rival starting at the junior high level, I believe
Yeah,
Big Chase was a ninth grader whenever I was in eighth grade as at the
yeah,
Tomlinson T Wolves.
yeah.
And he got after us every once in a while. He's probably and if we really want to go back, I've known Big Chase since he was at the Hoover Hawks number one
Yeah.
basketball.
Wow.
Oh,
Oh,
So
wow.
we go back a
Goodness
little
gracious.
bit, but
Yeah.
was very, very fortunate not only to play against Big Chase, but also to play with Big Chase. Taught me a whole lot of stuff outside of football and about how to become a college athlete, man, and how to take it serious when you're in between those lines. It's serious business, and there's a little pride to yourself, when you do the right things, it's not always about you. It's about all the other 11 people or 10 people or 22 people that kind of helped you get there. So a lot of the kids don't get that. A lot of the kids that I used to coach are few and far between. But that is something that I will always take away from Big Chase, man. He was always
Yeah.
that dude that took you underneath the wing and just taught you how to be an eagle, how to be a potential Sooner, how to be a potential, just good dude.
I
So,
appreciate that, brother. I'm gonna say this. Playing with Spencer, I never, as young as he was, he took the game so serious, and he played like that. And just not me, the guys that he would watch from Raymond Austin, Josh Brown, and all the others. It when I look back, he would take all these little things from them, and to be as young as he was, and to be so professional, and how he came to the game playing high school football, to where a lot of kids, you play with your friends. You're playing with your friends at the end of the day.
hmm
But he took it so serious, and how much he loved playing for Eisenhower, for his family, and for himself. You could see that at it, like, man, he's going to be successful, whatever he does in life. And so that was my take from him, just growing up and playing with him. And to be honest, he helped me, because I know I had to
yeah,
take my job even more serious, because it's like the coaches would put me into the side. These men are looking at you and how hard you're working, and what are you striving to do when you leave here. And it's one of the
hmm
things that I always looked at, and I said, I hope I left an imprint on those young dudes, so they strive and want to do the same thing. Because the dude before me, the Philip Kennys, the White McFaddens, you know, we can go on when it comes to Lawton High School.
hmm
Those guys are the ones that, like, man, I want to be one of those guys.
hmm 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 Well, I
Yeah,
appreciate those kind words. I just, like I said, you set the standard, and you either met it or you needed to get the hell on. So that's
yeah,
how I
that
looked at
was
it, and
it.
I wanted to
That's
be
how
a
we were
part of
all
it. So,
raised, man. Yeah, we were all raised that way. I hate
well,
it, couldn't stand our last, but I'm thankful to be
yeah,
a part of it with you, brother.
absolutely, absolutely, man.
Well, man,
Yeah.
this has been awesome. Bergie, I don't know about you. I'm just enjoying listening. These two,
I
I
am
could listen
too.
to these two
I could sit
exchange
here and listen to
stories.
those
No,
two.
Yeah,
I could do
me
it.
too.
no,
Yep.
Me too.
yeah. Well,
I
and we
will
could
say,
go all day, but I appreciate it,
yeah.
guys.
Well, I will say one thing,
Yeah. Appreciate you,
Martin.
Spence.
Before I let you got, hey, before I let y'all go, Martin. Last week we did let Spencer talk a little bit about a game in 1996
Mm.
on Owen Field, Golden Hurricane against the Sooners. A game it hurts me, but it doesn't hurt me because I was bittersweet. But
Mm.
we did let Spencer gloat a little bit last week.
Ah,
Yeah, that was one of those different games. Like I said last week, was that I grew up wanting to be a Sooner and was unable to be a Sooner but was fortunate enough to play on that field and maybe not be in the right colors at that time, but got to be a part of something. And we just happened to be on the winning side of that day, and kind of like you said at the beginning, it's bittersweet because at one point in time, Martin was my teammate, and to see my teammate hurt, it was like, well, I mean, this is kind of one of those things. Growing, that was a growing point that I figured out real quick that college football was serious business, and at the end of the day, a business. So you had to take care of business. So
business, that's it.
Awesome.
And that's what these young men are learning right now. It's a business.
Yes, sir.
It is a business, especially now. Now. Yeah. Well, hey guys, we're gonna get y'all out of here. I appreciate both of y'all. Spencer, already know you're welcome back anytime. Martin, we would love to have you back, maybe during football season or something.
Yeah, reach out to us.
Talk about this. Yeah, definitely will. Thank both of y'all for coming on. Bergie, you got any parting words for these two?
I'm just proud to share the screen and share that wonderful school there in Southwest Oklahoma with you guys. So continued success to you both, and look forward to hopefully having you guys back on at some point.
You know it. Good seeing you, Spence. Love you, brother.
All right. And all right, he's out.
Oh,
all right, man, that was awesome.
Man. I just that's the brotherhood that when I finally gave up football and then eventually gave up baseball, like that's the part you miss. That is your guys.
Absolutely.
Road trips, practices, struggling together, winning together. Like you can tell that those two have mutual love for each other, and that was really cool. Really cool thing you did there, Coach Kirb. So appreciate you doing that.
Yeah, I thought about it. You know what? I called Spencer, and he was out walking his dog, and he said, "Yeah, I'll do it. Just let me know when." Just resend me. That's what I apologize. It looked like I was on my phone. Everybody, that's what I was doing, letting Spencer know. Okay, come on whenever you're ready. So that's what I was doing. So, Bergie, I'm gonna shift gears here a second. I'm gonna say we bump up our two country bumpkins pretending to know soccer because I'm burning up in this pullover.
I hear you. What do you say we bump that up to now, and then we'll do the rest after? You good with that? Country bumpkins pretending to know soccer. It's that time.
It is that time. You want to go first? I'll let you go first because you're outside in the heat.
I'm outside. I got some flies around me. Got the Thunder game over my shoulder. So, but yeah. So, and we went over a couple of weeks ago, kind of what the criteria was for this, and I'm going to adopt a team right now. And in fact, I noticed this because as soon as I felt like my team was secured, I went ahead and got on the old Amazons and decided I'm going to go ahead and rep this team. And so what I did notice about soccer and soccer jerseys in general is they're not really made for fat people. And, and that makes sense, right? Because soccer players will run, 6-7 miles at a time. And I'm sitting here like wearing this thing, and I feel like my body's gasping for air. But here we are, man. And so I'll go ahead and introduce you guys to the 9th ranked world team in the world, who is going to come out of Group G, and that is Belgium. Belgium. Geographically is sitting there basically right in the middle of the Netherlands, Germany to the east, and France to the west. And several reasons that I'm picking Belgium. First of all, they are called the Red Devils. Believe it or not, Pat, like there are teams have, nicknames, and they have nicknames for their fans. I believe the nickname for the fans of Belgium are the 1895s, which is, I guess, the first year they had an organized team. And for instance, the U.S. Soccer team, their fans are called the Outlaws, which kind of comes back to their history as well. But I chose Belgium, and one reason is they have a group that's very doable. Okay, they're in Group G. They got Egypt, ranked 29th in the world. All right, get ready for this one, Coach Kirb. They got Iran, who is 21st in the world, and we already expressed our feeling. and they have New Zealand. Like, how did New Zealand qualify for this thing? I think you and me and Spencer and Martin could probably have a good shot at New Zealand on the pitch. But they are ranked 85th in the world. So those are the three teams that Belgium's going to take on to get to out of the group stage and into the knockout round, which is essentially the bracket pool. So there's a little bit of history here. In 2018, Belgium finished third in the World Cup. In 1986, they finished fourth, and that was kind of like their heyday between the 80s and 2000. At one point in 2015, actually, Belgium was ranked number one team in the world. And so there is, like I said, some history of success. It doesn't seem like they've, gotten to the big one. In fact, 4 years ago, they did have a draw with Croatia. They tied 1-1. And that actually kind of eliminated them from the group stage. And so they've got talent. They've got guys that are playing in the big five European leagues. Two of them specifically are Romelu Lukaku, the all-time leading scorer in Belgium. He's playing for Napoli in Serie A, which is the top league in Italy. And his teammate actually in Napoli is a midfielder named Kevin De Bruyne. And that's the jersey I'm wearing right now. Kevin De Bruyne is kind of the mix master. He's the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain, plays midfield. He does a lot of the assists. He's the all-time leading assist guy from Manchester City, one of the premier teams in the world professionally. And I felt like, what is it that Belgium is talking to me about? And here's where I came up with this, Coach Kirb, is yes, lots of success, highly ranked, superstars. They got a superstar goalie who's the goalie for Real Madrid right now, and that may be a top 2 or 3 team in the world. And so I feel like Belgium, in a lot of ways, resembles my Buffalo Bills, and haven't really, got to the big one. Have a lot of elite offensive talent, a little bit of struggles on defense. I do have an elite goalkeeper. And so I felt like, man, as a big Bills fan, this team seems to be calling me because they just need maybe one extra super fan to kind of get them over that hump, just like I feel like the Bills can do this year in possibly the Super Bowl run in February. So I took Belgium. It's going to be my squad. I'm excited for the Red Devils. The experts will tell you that they're a little bit past their prime. I feel like there's some gas in the tank left, especially since they got knocked out prematurely 4 years ago. Had a couple changes, and I think we're ready. I think the Red Devils are ready. Okay. That's my squad. I'm excited about this, and so, Coach Kirb, it's time to turn it over to you, sir.
Well, I've got to pull my headsets off, so you've got to give me a second.
Here we go. Let's go. Yes, the unveiling. What are we? You did it. Wow.
Here we go.
He's going. Wow. Why Morocco? I mean, it's a great pick, but go for it.
Well, I've started looking back when we first started talking about this, and yes, I like the shirt, so I didn't go for the jersey. I went for the shirt.
That's probably smarter.
I wish it set up a little bit higher. Maybe I need to get a booster seat so it can be seen when I'm sitting here. My chair's raised up as high as it'll go. No, as usual, I didn't go as in-depth as Bergie did on the history. They did finish in the semifinals in 2022.
They did.
They just missed the semifinals back in 2018. So I think they're there. I think they're ready to make a run. They are very good defensively from everything that I've read. And which is, you mentioned that Belgium is similar to your Buffalo Bills. Well, Morocco is opposite of my Dallas Cowboys. They play good defense. Maybe that's going to change, but anyway, yeah, I know. Very disciplined team. They did, like I said, they have an elite defense. I think they're coming in with some confidence because they got a lot of the guys playing that played in 2022, and they, like I said, they finished 4th in 2022. A lot of talent. Their goalie, they call him Bono, and that's what I'm going to call him. I'm not going to pronounce his name, but he goes by Bono, one of the premier goalkeepers from the research that I did. I do know the name of one of their players, and it is Achraf Hakimi. And Achraf, I apologize. I'm sure you're listening. If I'm mispronouncing your name, I'm sure you're listening to this. But they are the Lions of Atlas, is what they. That is their nickname. They're not necessarily a mascot. It's tied to the Atlas Mountains, and The name. What did I say here? Yeah, the name embodies pride. That's where they come with that. So, it came down to them and the Netherlands. Actually, that was one of the two.
Man,
the two that I looked at.
I'm glad you said that because I had the Netherlands. I just feel like the fans of the Netherlands are among the most rabid but respectful. You know what I mean? They're not doing stupid crap and hurting people and turning over cars. They're just an excited, proud country. And yeah, the Netherlands was in that small group of countries I felt like I needed to choose from. But yeah, Morocco's a good choice, Coach Kirb. You're right. They kind of surprised some people, came up and made to the semifinals. And it now just be interesting to see, like, they are now the hunted instead of the hunters and how they handle that. But I think they've had plenty of success, not just in the past 4 years, but the past 8 years in international play. Like, they could be right in the middle of it. You're exactly right. And so I'm excited to now kind of keep one eye on that team while I'm keeping the other eye on the Red Devils.
Well, they're hard to score on. Everything that I've read on Morocco is their defense is elite, and that obviously you keeping the other team from scoring. That was always kind of my thing when I coached. So, that's what stuck out to me, and we'll see. They may not win a single game when they start out, and not even get to the knockout round. So, but hey, I'm gonna pull for Morocco, and hopefully they can make a run in this thing.
Well, if bold predictions are any indicator, like you had me scared last week as well. You seem to be on something. You seem to be on something. We'll get to that here shortly. But one last note on Belgium. Per capita, this is good information here for you guys. Per capita, they've produced the most comic strip artists in the world, and you can thank the Belgians not just for waffles. You can thank them for essentially inventing the Smurfs.
Okay, I didn't know that. Did not know that. Trust me, I know all about Belgian waffles, but I did not know that about the Smurfs.
That's right.
Wow.
That's right.
Interesting. All right, so Belgium and Morocco, that is the two teams we will be rooting for going for on June 13th, right?
It starts
opener?
the 11th, I believe.
11th, okay.
Another team, by the way, and I think the Netherlands plays Japan in Arlington. At Dallas Stadium, which that's a whole different situation. But did you know that they're having to call the stadium Dallas Stadium?
It can't be AT&T Stadium.
That's right. We can't do corporate stuff because FIFA wants to control all that. But Japan's going to be a sneaky watch for me as well. They've now started importing players or exporting players to the European Big Five leagues and going to be a team to keep an eye on as well, Japan. But I believe that the Netherlands and Japan play maybe June 11th, and then the finals in the Meadowlands is July 19th. So we got a good month and a week to kind of pretend like we know some soccer. I can't wait for your game analysis after the first Morocco game.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, that'll be fun. All right, well, that is two country bumpkins pretending to know soccer, and we will probably table that now until a week before, right?
Let that marinate a little bit.
Yeah, just go buy your Morocco shirts, order your Belgium shirt, Belgium jerseys. Hopefully you don't have to wait as long as Bergie did to get his, or go get a hat or something to pick a team, or pick your own team and let us know who you're picking. That's
true. Like if you got some different ideas, I know there's some soccer followers out there. Throw that team in that comment box and let's see, because I'll be interested to see what some of our followers are pulling for. Who are they pulling for?
Definitely. All right, folks, we are going to get into some NFL stuff tonight. The NFL schedule was released last Thursday night, and what Bergie and I are going to do, we're going to kind of he's going to look at the Bills, I'm going to look at the Cowboys schedule and have a record projection, and we're going to write it down and see who got theirs right. So it's not bold prediction, but it's NFL talk, and we're going to look at our teams and see how they did. You want me to go first?
Yeah, but before I turn it over to you, I just want to make sure, because maybe the average to below average NFL fan doesn't know how the schedule is made. And so I always look at it because you can actually look right now to see who the Dallas Cowboys are playing in 3 years. Like there is a rotation and there is a method to the madness. So, for example, that you play 6 division games, right? You play everybody in your division twice, home and road. So there's 6 games. Then the NFL will assign you a full full division from the other conference. Right. So in this case, NFC would play an entire AFC, let's say the AFC North. And then you will play another full division in your own conference. And then you will play 3 games against teams that are not in either one of those divisions, but finish in the same place in their division that you did. So, for example, Buffalo finished second to the Patriots, gross, last year. And so they play 3 second-place teams. They will play the AFC West and the NFC North, and that is their 17 games. So, anyway, I just want to set the table there for you. Okay. But, Coach Kirb, go ahead.
Well, and I've looked at this for the last 3 days at the Cowboys schedule, and, there are a couple of swing games here that could kind of go either way. I'm not going to go through every single game. I mean, if you want to do that with the Bills, that's fine. But I have the Cowboys at 11-6. Maybe that's optimistic given their defense, but there's a couple of swing games I have are at the Colts. And because that game just screams you should go in there and be able to win it, but we're the Cowboys, and those are the type of games we lose. And the other
Colts
one
were
is
sneaky good last year.
Yeah,
the Colts were sneaky good last year. Yeah.
And now if it was at Jerry World, I would say it's a Cowboy win. But Cowboys have a tendency to go lay an egg on the road, and that wouldn't surprise me because that's just how they roll. And the other swing game is the 49ers. I don't know what to expect from the 49ers. They have them at home.
Same.
Yeah, I just don't. Brock Purdy, you don't know what you're getting. When he was first coming out a couple years ago, hey, 49ers were good, and they're still good, but I don't know what to expect from them. And they're playing them in Arlington, so I think the Cowboys can beat them. But if they lose that one, and then the other, actually there's 3 swing games. The other one, and it's a swing game because of who they're playing, who the quarterback on the other team is, but it's Tampa Bay. Everybody knows I'm a Baker guy, and that game will hurt me to root against Baker because I love Baker Mayfield. But I think the Cowboys get it done at home. But I think they're going 11-6. They have the toughest part of the schedule. They're at Green Bay and at Philly in back-to-back weeks. And I think they're going to lose both those games. I mean, yeah, I'm a Cowboy fan, but I'm a homer, but I'm not being a homer there. I'm being realistic. I hope I'm wrong. I hope they go in there, and because I have them 4-1 going into those 2 games. And after that, they're 4-3, beating the Colts game. Again, who knows? But the rest of the way, then later they have Seattle, and they're at the Rams in back-to-back weeks. Now, that is separated by a bye week. So, I don't know, and which means they're probably going to go 4-13, since I'm saying they're going to go 11-6. But that's just kind of what I'm thinking. I think it's going to be a good year. The draft that they had, we talked about on our first episode. I really love what they did in the draft. The defensive moves they made. I don't know. I just think they're going to be better. And offensively, they got everybody back and didn't really lose anybody of note. And I just, the window is closing. I hate to quote Lincoln Riley, but the window is still there for Dak, and he needs to have a good year. If the offense duplicates what they did last year, and they're average on defense, I think they're getting in the playoffs, but I think they're going to be better than average. Again, maybe I'm drinking that silver and blue Kool-Aid, but 11-6 is what I'm saying for the Cowboys.
Well, I think you're not the only one kind of drinking that Kool-Aid. There's some national pundits that are looking at the Cowboys, and they're kind of jumping on board a little bit, which should be a little fearful and scary to you. But
it is.
I would not be surprised if the Cowboys make them a nice run this year. And if anybody's due, right, it's them. I think the coaching change is good, and I know we're kind of in year 2, but it's hard to argue with what Schottenheimer's doing right now. And so I like that. I like where you went with that, and I like your swing games. I kind of came at it from a little bit different perspective. First of all, I think for the Bills, it's the first 5 games, right? It's the first 5 games. They start off in Houston, and even in the regular season, like Houston just seems to have their number. Of course, that defense is borderline unreal. And so the good thing is, you should obviously enter that game fully healthy and fully rested. And in the past we've gone, like we went into Houston last year and laid an egg. But everybody's banged up at that time of year. So, at full strength, I give myself a chance, but I'd probably take the Texans game one. And then we have the vaunted home opener for the new Highmark Stadium. And this thing, man, I'm looking at ticket prices, Coach Kirb, to be honest with you, seeing if I could make my way up there. Again, I actually saw the last game in person against the Jets last January, and it was awesome. But that new stadium
I've been meaning to ask you about that, but go ahead.
Yeah. No, I mean, you got some newness, right? You've got a new head coach, obviously new coordinators. You got a new stadium. Josh has a couple new toys, one from the draft, Skylar Moore out of UConn, and DJ Moore out of Chicago. And so, you got some outside threats. There's a little shuffling on the offensive line, a little concerning there, but a fully healthy Josh Allen, not kind of limited mobility-wise, has proven to be effective against heavy pass rush teams, getting rid of the ball, moving the pocket, and not taking sacks. He actually had the most sacks in his career last year. I think it was like 25 times, and that's just not Josh Allen. So that does scream that, man, there was some limited mobility. But we start at the Texans, and then we go Lions, Chargers, Patriots, home, and that's a pretty good gauntlet. And
it is.
Then Game 5, you go to L.A. to face the Rams, which you talk about experts and pundits. I think a lot of experts and pundits are picking them to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. So those first 5 games, man, and I hate to say, well, I'll take 3 and 2, but I would probably take 3 and 2, knowing that the rest of the schedule gets pretty manageable for the Bills. What I also like to look at too is how many times are they playing on a short week. And so I did some digging there. I feel like, and talked to Chase a little bit about his NFL playing experience and the effects of the physicality of the game, because it's just grown men, the strongest men, in the area, and they're just going 100 miles an hour and banging each other. And so I think there's just a lot of like soreness and injury that people just try to play through. And so I think that the full 6 days rest is big. And when I start looking at the Bills' schedule, it's like, all right, who are we playing on short weeks? Short weeks. So there are 6 games where the Bills play on short weeks. And it's probably because they play on a Monday night or a Thursday night. So that means they also have a long week after that. So that it does kind of balance out a little bit. But we got the Lions on 4 days rest. Go at the Raiders, at the Jets on 6 days rest. That's actually a benefit, knowing those two teams, unless Mendoza just comes out blazing. Those two teams are still, trying to rebuild a little bit. They got the Chiefs on 4 days on Christmas Day. Thanksgiving Day. The Bears on 6 days rest, and then at the Broncos on Christmas Day with 6 days rest. And you got to count that travel day too. So flying to Denver, it's almost like 5 days rest in my opinion. But man, if you can somehow maybe go 3 and 3 on those short rest weeks, there's really not a whole lot of like excuses not to do well. Chargers 10 days rest, Rams 8 days rest, Ravens are coming off a bye. They got the Vikings on 8 days rest, at the Pats on 10 days rest, which to me is the biggest, I guess, benefit is playing your division foe on the road with 10 days rest, and then of course at the Dolphins on 9 days rest. So to me, I'm looking at 12-5, and that might be being a little optimistic, but that's kind of been their standard. I think that's what they were last year. The schedule, I mean, I've seen some publications on websites, whatever, saying, oh, the Bills have the 14th easiest or hardest schedule, which is right in the middle of the NFL. I think it's more difficult than that. I think they're probably, if you look at teams' winning percentage from the previous season, I think we have, maybe the 8th or 7th, like, most difficult schedule based off, because they still got the Bears. They still got mention the Packers. Like, we're playing some really good teams. Hopefully, a lot of our tough games on paper are in Orchard Park. So I certainly feel like there is a 2-3 point swing when you're playing at home in the NFL. But I'll take a 12-5 team. But I really want to win the division. We saw how important that was last year to have to go on the road second round, and the Patriots, of course, made it to the Super Bowl. But give me 12-5 for the Buffalo Bills, and if not, give me a playoff run. Get Josh Allen in the playoffs, and I like our chances.
Okay. And that's a great point, Bergie, I didn't even think about looking at short weeks, long weeks. And, I mentioned the Cowboys played the Seahawks, first of a back-to-back road games against the Rams with the Rams. But, that Seattle game is on Monday night after they've played Thanksgiving. So the Cowboys actually have 11 days to get ready for Seattle.
Oh, is that
So
like
they play
week and a half?
Thanksgiving. They play Thanksgiving Day against the Eagles and don't play for 11 days on Monday night. So, and then they have a bye week before they play the Rams. So that may not be as tough of a 2-game stretch as I thought. Now I'm not going to sit here and say the Cowboys are going to go beat the defending Super Bowl champions on the road, but having that extra time off, it's got to help. And it's on a Monday night, and that place will be rocking. And the 12th man, forgive me, A&M fans, the 12th man in Seattle is going to be rocking for the Dallas Cowboys. Still bring the juice. They still bring the fans out,
They do.
So, okay, well, good. If we're both right, we're going to have a fun football. You're going to be closer to being right with yours and mine. My team is the one, those swing games go the other way. Cowboys are still looking at 8-9 and from the outside looking in. So,
well, and we'll this, see. We are one Josh Allen stubbed toe or broken finger away from being a 6-11 team. So it's all about Josh. It's all about his health. But man, I'm pretty excited. I've been excited. This is our Super Bowl window. The window is open. I would probably agree that maybe it's starting to close, but it's hard to believe that they're not going to be, at least their name's not going to be in the hat when it's all said and done.
I like that dude. I like Josh Allen. I know he can drive you crazy sometimes, but we have texted before during games, and I said, "Man, I like y'all's quarterback," and you're like, he makes that turnover. I know, but
yeah, I'm a little on the edgy side during Bills games. I just can't help it. So
yeah, well, if Dak goes down, all this right here, I'm throwing it in the trash because it's not going to matter if Dak gets hurt. So, Anyway, all right, so we'll table that also until August starts to roll. And we're going to have fun during football season. I know I keep saying that every week, but I can't wait to do this show during football season. All right, NBA playoffs. There's actually a pretty big game that I know has your interest going on right here in front of me.
It does.
I don't know what it's on a replay right now, so I don't know what the score is. Sunday, we're up 5 earlier. So what about Wemby in game 1?
First of all, and Spencer actually said it well last week. He said
did.
if he ever figures it out, and
right.
I hope that didn't just happen, but he figured something out on Monday, and I don't know what I don't know what you do with that. There are times where he just reaches up and he just throws the ball down into the hoop, and I haven't really examined or tried to look at kind of what the Thunder are doing today that may be a little bit different. I know they were playing Caruso and Jay Will on Wemby, when he's catching it at the nail, which is essentially the free throw line, and then they were helping from there. I don't know. Here's what I do know: Chet got punked.
He did.
That's me. He got punked. You are 7-1. I know Wemby's 7-4, but you have as good a chance to do some damage, to hold your ground, to alter shots as he does, and I just think Wemby abused him. And I'll be interested to see how Chet rebounds, because he's a prideful young man. He doesn't boast. He doesn't, of course that whole team is kind of they do deflect any personal accolades. They push it on their teammates, but I need him to take this a little bit more personally, because Wemby is pretty open about not liking Chet. He is very demonstrative when it comes to dunking on Chet like he did on Monday. They even go back to when they were playing against each other in like Team USA versus Team France. I think Holmgren got an MVP and he scored like 11 points. And when they announced it, even though they beat France, I think Wemby had like 30 something, and he was just rolling his eyes like, really, like get a load of this guy. You know what I mean? Like, I think they just that the little rivalry is budding and it's still emerging. And I just want Chet, to seem like, and maybe. I don't know Chet at all. Obviously, none of us do. But from what I saw as a neutral observer from the outside, he was getting abused, and so if they could figure that out, and I think the key, and I mentioned this 2 weeks ago, Jay Will, it was his first game back. He had missed 20-something games. SGA, they stuck a rookie on him. I can't remember his name. That rookie did a great job of just hounding him and harassing him. It was kind of their Lou Dort, but he's bigger and has a more length. And so it looked like SGA kind of had to defer to his teammates. And I'm okay if that ball's in Jay Will's hands. Jay Will's got a nice pull-up game. He can get to the rim. He can shoot the three. I just think, first game back from a long layoff with the hamstring, I think he's going to have to assert himself. And, of course, Chet, is going to have to – you're not going to match Wemby, but you got to make his life more difficult.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to find a way to slow him down a little bit and not just let him just go nuts like he did. And all that being said, he's driving down there down 3, and he pulls up from 35 feet out, and I'm like, what's he doing? This is fixing to be ball game. And it goes nothing but net. That, to me, that's – if he doesn't make that shot, Thunder win that game. And
right.
I know he did. I know he did a lot more than that in that one. But to me, that still blows me away that he pulled up and took that shot.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. I thought, that's a bad shot, and then it went in. I was like, Steph Curry, 2016. Yeah. Like that's probably the toughest, most difficult ending to a Thunder game that I've ever experienced was that Steph Curry shot. And then, of course, this is now right up there because you're talking about Western Conference Finals. And so, I was with you. That if that shot doesn't go in, we get the rebound, we get fouled, we go up 4 or 5, we probably win that game. So I'm not pushing the panic button. The Thunder need some adversity. They need to play hungry. They need to play desperate because they haven't had to do that in a long time. So tonight's game obviously is going to be a big key to see, like, all right, can they answer the bell? And can we get this thing going to San Antonio and figure out a way to win one of those two and get that home court advantage back?
Yeah, take care of this one here, and they're up 6 right now with 4.5 minutes left. So, and of course it's going to be over when this airs. But anyway, then you'll still win in San Antonio. I did a clip yesterday. I don't know if you saw it or not. That posted. It kind of aggravated when I titled it "Spurs Steal Game 1." I pissed off some Spurs fans. Which really breaks my heart. Not really, but
good job.
I thought that was kind of funny that and I said, well, I don't like the Spurs. Why do you not like them? I'm like, it's not personal. I'm a Mavericks fan. It's just, I wouldn't.
That's it.
I'm not going to apologize for that. Speaking of which, never mind. I'll get to that later. No, and the guy Caruso, I remember him from last year. I like that dude, man. He just gets it done. A lot of people will say this. We won the finals last year against the Pacers because of him. He played like that the entire time, and holy cow, like that dude he was everywhere, defensively, offensively, and just, in a lot of ways inspiring his teammates. But if there's no Caruso, the Thunder lose by 15. Like he was that good. And so, but yeah, I'm with you. I love watching players like that play because they have less talent, they have less size. They use their brain and they find a way to get things done. And so hopefully more of the same for Alex Caruso, very popular player in Oklahoma City. Yeah, to me last year against Indiana, he was their unsung hero.
Yes, sir.
He's good. I just like the way he plays. And one last thing on that series, do they not ever call traveling anymore in the NBA?
No, I mean, it's got to be egregious. That's the word I'll use. If it's egregious, yeah, they'll call it. But there's pivot foots dragging all the time, and the step through move is now a move that people have. It's been in the rule book forever, but it's always been called a travel, where you do that little pump fake and then you take that extra step. Right. It looks like, hey, I'm lifting my pivot foot, but if you go into your shot off of that step through move, then it's not a travel. But just in general, yeah, it feels like there's just we've gotten so deep into the style of play in the NBA with dribbling and ball handling that now it's just accepted as, hey, that's not a travel. But if you look too closely, there's a lot of carries. Like there's a lot of hands on the bottom of the ball, and we're turning the ball over. And I mean, I'm looking at, I coached high school basketball for 18 years. Like that's an automatic. We blow the whistle, and that's a carry. But in the NBA, I don't think the carry is a thing anymore because there's a lot of them. Turning the wrist over and turning the ball over in the middle of a drive.
Well, to me, the call or non-call, I guess, that I was thinking of was when Wemby drove the lane fourth quarter. I swear he took 3 full steps, but I guess that's the step through you're talking about, I guess. I mean, I'm not a basketball guru by any means, but man, that looked like 3 giant steps from the top of the key to the goal line, to the goal line, not football, to the basket. And man,
the key to look at there, Kirb, is when they gather. So when both hands go on the ball, then you get 2 steps from there. So sometimes they'll end their dribble, but they haven't gathered yet, so they can still take that additional first step and then gather and then go step 2, step 3, and it's not a travel. But yeah, look at the gather, and that'll kind of give you better ideas like, hey, is that a travel or not, and are they calling it? But yeah, that's something, especially Wemby, when he can gather from the top of the key and not dribble to get to the rim. Seems a little unfair.
Red Kirby would have been screaming traveling on that. That's all I'm going to say.
Loud too.
And then real quick on the East, man, I switched it over to watch the OU baseball pregame show last night because I thought that game was over. And 22 down, and here come the Knicks back. I'm not going to talk a lot about that, but that was crazy.
No, but let's just put it this way: like, isn't that fun? Like the first 2, finals games were really good. I mean, that Spurs Thunders game was one of the best games I've seen in a long time, regardless of the outcome. It was awesome.
Great game.
And then, I was with you, man. I started flipping it over, looking at hockey or something, and then all of a sudden I flipped back and I was like, wait a minute, like they're going in overtime. And the Garden was rocking, and I know we've said some things about the Knicks, but hey, hats off to the Cavs, man. Like they were the better team for 3.5 quarters, and just once that momentum, once Big Mo gets on your side, especially at home in the playoffs, like it's hard to stop that. But yeah, that was awesome too. Like it's a good time to be an NBA fan, especially after this first game in the finals.
44-11 run the Knicks went on.
That's crazy. and you have Donovan Mitchell. You know what I mean? Like Donovan Mitchell's a dude. He's a walking bucket, and for them to get outscored by that much,
crazy,
like,
man.
I don't know what you do about that. You just have to say, all right, man, good job, and let's go to game 2. So, but I'd rather the Thunder lose the way they did in double overtime than the way that the Cavs lost, because that could have a little bit more of an effect moving into game 2. So I'll not a fan of any Thunder loss, but I certainly Yep.
Hey, last thing I'll say on that, and I posted it on Facebook. When you have a 57 loss team, there's one good thing about it. Yeah, I know. I keep referring to that. They lost 57 games and fired their coach.
But anyway, the coach.
You can watch a great game like that. I felt zero stress. Hey, I want the Thunder to win the series because they're playing
and if
the Spurs.
They don't, you're going to get as much sleep as you would if they did.
I mean, but I wanted them to go a third overtime. I wanted them to keep playing, and I know, like I said, I don't have a dog in the hunt. But real quick on Jason Kidd, and I did a clip last night on this. The Mavericks needed this is unplanned, by the way, Grant. The Mavericks need a different voice. Do I think Jason Kidd is why they've missed the play? No, he's not. I mean, that idiot GM they had, Nico, he traded his freaking franchise player away. Luka's the real deal. Yes, he's hurt. He was hurt in the playoffs, but you don't trade. And I get they have Cooper Flag, but they're in full rebuild mode now. And I would have loved to have seen what Jason Kidd could do, but I get it. The new GM came in, and I think it's time for a different voice. But
I think
he got an unfair. He's been unfairly blamed for what happened the last 2 years.
That's fair. And I still think there's speculation that Jason Kidd wanted the trade, right? There's still that talk out there that, he was actually part of the conversations, and of course I think Kidd has been on, officially as saying like, hey, that wasn't my deal. And I just think there's a distraction there. I think go back to your point that we might just need to, sever the ties and completely reboot, and just so we don't have that dark cloud hanging over the franchise. Hey, don't feel sorry for Jason Kidd. He's going to land somewhere, just like Rick Carlisle. I think Rick Carlisle is an outstanding coach.
I do too.
And the Mavericks let him go, and of course, he's in the finals last year with Indianapolis. I think Jason Kidd is going to land on his feet. He's going to end up with a squad, and he's going to make them extremely competitive. So I think it was a good mutual separation. And I know we said he was fired, and I just think that there was probably a difference in what's happening moving forward. And so he was like, "Yeah, cool." Jason Kidd is a good coach.
He is.
And players will respond to him. And So yeah, let's not feel sorry for him. I know he had 4 years left on his contract, but it's not like college football. Like, well, hey, I'll just pay you $12 million just to not coach. I mean, he'll land somewhere, and
He will.
And he'll be a thorn in the side of the Mavericks. Is one of my guesses.
He will. I've always liked him. I mean, obviously he helped win him a championship 15 years ago. So with Dirk, so he was actually drafted by the Mavericks. I
That's
had
right.
forgotten that he was an original Maverick when he came out of college. But yeah, and I don't know where the Mavericks turn next for the next coach. I don't know who's out there.
Nope.
We'll just wait and see what they do. I do like I think they got a good GM. That guy took Toronto to the championship a few years back. So
Yep.
So we'll see where they go. Anything else on NBA?
No, I'm just looking forward to seeing what happens with the Thunder tonight, and seeing if we can turn it possibly into a bold prediction next week.
Yeah, up 10, almost halftime.
Okay.
We are gonna hit OU OSU, but briefly tonight. You want to talk OSU? Just
Yeah, I don't have a lot
quick?
here. I don't have a lot here. I know OSU
either.
baseball got the 5th seed in the Big 12 tournament. They actually played and stayed in Arizona, and so they're getting ready to play UCF tomorrow. Central Florida ended up in the 4th spot, and actually gave the Cowboys some trouble beginning of the year. But that's before obviously OSU has kind of found their groove a little bit. So they play 11 a.m. and so that'll be right off the bat in the morning. And so looking forward to seeing if they can make a little run there. They are projected as a 2 seed. I think they've earned their way to that for the NCAA tournament. I'm looking possibly forward to see if they can go ahead and beat UCF. To see in Kansas the 1 seed, who's kind of limping a little bit into the Big 12 tournament. But yeah, we got that. And for all of you guys who are big wrestling fans, OSU just landed a transfer from Stanford. This is going to be this is at a weight that we need. We had Alex Facundo there last year, and that kid, out of every wrestler we had 3 champions and other finalists. He made it to the blood round, I believe, but Alex Facundo, he was separating his shoulder every match. There was a couple matches in the past month where he separated his shoulder twice during matches, and they would go over, pop it back in, he'd get back on the mat. Like, that's just, wrestlers are just different. You know what I mean? But we landed this guy out of Stanford, and this kid, he 2 years ago, his freshman year, had a 21-6 record, made a nice run, was 18th seeded in the NCAA tournament. And then he redshirted last year due to injury, but he's got an offensive game, and he's got a style that's going to fit David Taylor's coaching. And I look possibly forward to Lorenzo Norman filling that 174 spot in the OSU lineup and just adding a little more meat to the bottom of those weights, because I think the top of the weights the first half are going to be outstanding. This to me is a big pickup for OSU wrestling.
Awesome. That's good. That's awesome. And OSU softball, where are they going? Are they hosting a super?
They're going to Nebraska to face.
Oh, that's right.
Jordy Fromm.
Jordy
That's right.
Fromm. Man, I wish she was still at OU.
She's good.
Yes,
She's good.
she is. She is, but I totally get it.
What about you?
Speaking of limping into a conference tournament,
Oh, wow.
OU baseball had a luxurious 1-day stay in Hoover, Alabama. There was a time about a couple of months ago, a buddy of mine were thinking about driving to Hoover to the SEC baseball tournament. Needless to say, I'm glad that decision did not get. We decided not to make that trip, but same thing. Now this time the pitching actually wasn't bad. They were down 4-2 going to the 7th, but man, they left the bases loaded twice, and they just can't get it together. It's either pitching's it's either the pitches well and we're hitting the ball, or other way around. They can't get it together. Hopefully, maybe it'll have the same effect that what softball did. Maybe it'll have the same effect. The early exit, go back, reset a little bit, and have some time off, and get ready to go play, because everybody's going to be available after getting beat out the first game. But if they lose 6-2 to LSU, just await their fate now to see where they're going. Projections I saw today saying the 3 seed in Tallahassee. I saw one. I can't remember where the other one was. I saw one that still had them as a 2, but I think that was done before yesterday.
Yeah.
I think that was done after the weekend. So we'll see. They're going to get in. I don't know how long they're going to be around, to be honest with you. I mean, hopefully.
Well, count me as somebody that's now officially worried about the Sooner baseball program. You've been saying it for a couple of weeks now, like, hey,
Yeah.
they're struggling, and you know, I kept being optimistic and things like that, but I'm officially a little concerned about how the season is ending for them. But you know, like I said, you just get hot in a regional, man, that could carry you all the way to Omaha. So we'll see. But I'm officially a little concerned myself.
Yeah, because LSU's not very good this year. I know they're the defending national champions, but they're not very good. And it was last night. It was an ugly night for the Sooners. But
Yeah.
softball, just real quick, they're hosting the regional or super regional against Mississippi State. I think they righted their ship a little bit. I know the regional was not that strong, but man, they look good. They gave up 1 run all 3 games total. Scored a lot of runs, and you know, I feel much better than I did a week ago today. I'll just leave it at that. But they
look good.
Yeah, and so there's, according to DraftKings, if you go follow that kind of stuff, they're the betting favorite to win the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. It's a pretty good bet usually with them, but you know, we'll see how it goes. Hopefully they'll take care of Mississippi State in 2 games and, you know, head on to Devon Park next week.
Speaking of lines, did you see what BetMGM, the spread they had for the Thunder game tonight?
Mm-mm.
What do you think MGM put as the spread for the Thunder Spurs tonight?
I would say Thunder by 4 or 5.
They had Thunder -7.5.
Okay, negative.
Like
okay.
That's a big number. Like
that is
just
a big
based
number.
off what happened on Monday. Like they're thinking the Thunder's gonna kind of rally the troops, circle the wagons, whatever you want to call it, and you know, and enforce their will a little bit on the Spurs. But I saw that today. I was like, wow, that's a big number. A betting person, not that I am, but I would probably have to put money on the Spurs to cover that.
Yeah, I would say 4 just because home court, and right now they're at 9. So that surprises me. I didn't. That's a big number.
It's a big number.
Yeah. Okay. Bold predictions. I texted you today, asked if you had one ready to go because I was really kind of struggling, but
yeah,
I came up with one.
You can always count on me to have one because I will find the most obscure thing, right? And I would count my bold prediction for this week as obscure.
Because there's slim pickings this week. That's why I asked you.
Oh, for sure. But if you recall, like a couple of weeks ago, we went with the horses, right? And then we went with the PJ Championship. And I'm looking around like, all right, what's happening this weekend? Indianapolis 500. Now, if you are looking for some expert racing analysis for IndyCar, you are on the wrong show because I literally, I got 0 to nothing. I did actually visit the track a couple years ago when I went to Indy to see my daughter and perform up there in a band competition, which I love. By the way, Indianapolis, it's a cool city, man. It reminds me a lot of Oklahoma City. But went to the track and there's an 18-hole golf course in the infield. Like that thing is massive. Like I couldn't realize how big that thing was.
Wow.
But they are running the Brickyard Indianapolis 500 this Sunday. And so let me give you my pick for that because I know that all of our listeners and subscribers are really eager to hear my thoughts on IndyCar racing. First of all, the individual that's on the poll has won 3 consecutive IndyCar racing titles. So he's basically a dynasty in the making. His name is Alex Palau. He's the defending champ of the 500. He's in the pole position, which means he's starting on the inside of row 1. And like I said, he's won 3 in a row, 4 out of 5. Out of the last 23 total races in IndyCar, he's won 11. Like, that's a little ridiculous because you're starting a lot of times 33 cars in IndyCar races. So for one person or one team to be that successful, it's a little scary. But I'm never going to pick the favorite, Coach Kirb. That's not my style. I'm going to pick a young man who's actually going to start right next to him on row 1. His name is Alexander Rossi, who is an American. You know, I'm a big American guy. So,
USA, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm writing that down because I'll forget his name.
Alexander Rossi, Rossi. He is an American from California. He's starting in the number 20. He drives a Chevrolet. Like I said, he's starting in the middle of row 1. He does have 8 wins in his career. He did win 10 years ago. This week he won the Indy 500. So maybe it's a little nostalgia. Maybe I'm trying to bring up the past and see if he can find glory once more. And the other reason I feel like Rossi was singing to me is he actually during practice this week got into a pretty bad wreck. And he's in a boot, but apparently the boot has come off today. We're supposed to come off today for more practice rounds around the oval there in Indy. So give me Alexander Rossi to win the Indianapolis 500 this Sunday. How's that?
Okay, that's good. I forgot all about the Indy 500 because it's Memorial Day weekend. I hadn't even thought of that.
Yes, sir.
I hadn't even thought about that. All right, well, I stuck with golf.
Okay.
Another week. I had forgotten that the Byron Nelson is this week here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
McKinney, Texas.
Do what?
It's in McKinney.
Yes, in McKinney. And funny story about that. When I was coaching at Waxahachie back in 2003 or 4, it's after we finished our track practice, or I'm sorry, our off-season workout, and me and the coach are just kind of hanging out in the office. I mean, you know how that is. One of our kids comes in. He says, "Hey, Coach Kirby, my dad is out here. He wants to see one of y'all." I'm like, first thing you think, "Oh crap."
Yeah, here we go.
Okay. Okay. He said, "Well," I said, "Is something wrong?" And I get up and head that way. He said, "No, he's got something he wants to give you, some event going on, some kind of golf thing." What was free tickets and to the hospitality tent, free parking, everything to the Byron Nelson. So that was pretty sweet. Cool. But that's my one Byron Nelson. And the guy that I went with was hilarious, one of my coaches, and he, God rest his soul, I would never go to another golf tournament with him ever. He doesn't believe in sitting down and just parking. I bet I walked 37 miles that day. But anyway, it was fun. But anyway, that's just kind of a funny story. Now, the Byron Nelson this week, I went with a guy. I don't know if it's bold prediction. The guy hadn't won since 2022. But he is a Texan, and you can probably already figure out who he is. He's 18-1 odds to win it this week. If his putting game is on, you got to be. I don't know a lot about golf, but I know you better be able to putt well on the Byron Nelson. Jordan Spieth. Did you know he hadn't won since 2022?
Okay.
He's been I
did not know it was that long.
Yeah, 4 years. He won the Heritage in 2022. And I didn't realize either. I knew it had been a while. I thought it had been a year or two, but it's been 4 years since he's won. Now he's been close on some tournaments, but he's due. He's due, and I think he's playing at home. Not at really.
Yeah.
And and he's a Longhorn, but I'm picking him anyway. I think Jordan Spieth's going to win the Byron Nelson this week.
Okay,
how bold that is.
First of all, yeah, no, it is bold. I mean, how many golfers? 150 golfers every week, and there's never, ever back-to-back winners. So anytime you pick a golfer to win, I think even if it's Scotty Scheffler, that's still a bold prediction because you just have so many variables that in play at a golf tournament. And so speaking of golf, by the way, 1 year from this weekend, the PGA Championship, do you know where that's being held 1 year from now?
Frisco,
Texas, which... Yeah. I'm not going to tell you how close, but my abode is really close to that area. And so Frisco schools actually decided to end school a week early next year to accommodate the amount of people coming in to play or watch the tournament next year, PGA Championship at Frisco at PGA headquarters. So I went ahead and just put my name in the hat as far as tickets go, because I'm thinking, hey, I'm just right down the street. I work really close. I could actually walk from work to the course, but I wanted to see all right, I'm going to check in on tickets just to see what those are going to run for. Today they got opened up for my group, and they are asking for $300 a piece to get into the PGA tournament. So unless we start getting some sponsors on this show, I'll probably have to do a little pass on the PGA Championship, but I'm not going to close the door completely on that yet. I'd love to be there. I'd love to take my son and kind of see some of those guys that are still in their prime go ahead and hack away at each other and see if some magic can be happening there in Frisco, Texas. So a little side nugget there for you.
I'm working on that sponsor thing, by the way. So I am working on that right now.
I mean, I halfway think you're kidding, but then I halfway think you're serious. So
I'm not kidding. No, I'm not kidding at all.
Oh,
I'm dead serious. I'm working on it. Nothing's set, but I put a couple of feelers out, so we'll see.
All right.
Hey, I don't know if I can even do that or not. I better
maybe
not.
A GoFundMe is a better option. I might need a GoFundMe. Hey,
maybe by that time we could do a live podcast from the PGA.
Yeah, they would love that. They would allow that for sure.
Yeah, I bet. Two Okies getting it done. So anyway.
Yeah.
All right, we are to the question and answer portion. We're near the end of the hour.
Yeah,
see if we can blow through this in 7 or 8 minutes.
That's perfect.
First question of the night came in about 3 days ago from someone by the name of Marcy Bergman.
Oh, Okay, I'm familiar.
Okay.
I'm familiar with her game. Yeah.
What is the most exciting football game you have ever seen?
Seen. I'm guessing she's saying in person.
I don't know. See, I went with one
That's
of
true.
each.
It's for us. Yeah.
I went with
It's
one
for
of
us.
each.
Oh man. I'll be honest with you. On TV, and I hate to say it because the Bills were on the wrong end of the scoreboard here, but that playoff game against the Chiefs, 13 seconds game, I felt the same way about that game as I felt about the Thunder and the Spurs the other day. As a fan of sports, as a fan of football, that was the most incredible game I've ever witnessed, and it just unfortunately ended up in severe heartbreak for me personally. But as I get older, I'm more wise and hopefully less attached to a professional football team that doesn't even know I exist. I look back at that game and go, "Wow, that was special. It was awesome." And we, as a football fan, man, I would love to see that again. I'm going to let you take over real quick because I'm trying to rack my brain as far as an in-person game that I look at and go, "Oh yeah, that was it." I think I have one, but I'm going to let you take over and see if I can rack my brain on some details there.
Okay. Well, I mean, both in person and TV, you can probably guess what team it involves. It's
Probably.
the Oklahoma Sooners. We can't really see the pictures on the wall behind me, but
Yeah.
the pullover I had on. So the one I've seen in person, and it really wasn't, it was the most, and I said this on a clip 3 weeks ago. It was more satisfying than it was exciting.
Yeah.
The 2014 Sugar Bowl, Trevor Knight caught lightning in a bottle. No one in America predicted OU to beat Alabama that night in New Orleans on January 2nd, 2014. Yeah. OU comes in 10-2. Alabama had just lost the kick six game to Auburn.
Okay.
And everybody just thought, well, they're going to take their frustrations out on OU. Paul Feinbaum said that Bob Stoops is going to get out coached by Nick Saban, and it was going to be an ugly night for the Sooners. Now, Trevor Knight, these numbers are emblazoned. 34 out of 42 for 300 some yards and a couple of touchdowns, and he was unbelievable that night. He was never that good again.
Yeah.
But they win the game 45-31, and it was a fun night. I was there with my cousins. It kind of pains me to say the most exciting game I've seen on TV because it involves the guy that's the head coach at USC now. But it was back at 2022, OU Texas. Texas jumps up 28-7 in the first quarter against the Sooners. They bring in Caleb Williams on a 4th and a foot, and he runs a quarterback sneak 60 yards for a touchdown. And OU comes back, wins the game. I think it was 54-47 or something like that. It was 50-something to 40. It was the most unbelievable football game I've ever seen. It was just back and forth. Casey Thompson was the quarterback for Texas, Charles Thompson's son. Just an incredible football game, and the Sooners won. But again, it involved Lincoln Riley. But hey, that was his last year at OU. So that's my two. That's my two.
All right. Okay. So I had to do a quick research because I was trying to find the date. Okay. I guess in person, the coolest game, and maybe it's not the most spectacular game of two high-flying teams, but it was a weird scenario. 1999, all right? I'm a college kid. It was my first year at OSU, and I convinced myself, one or two of my teammates, some of my JUCO friends, we actually decided to fly to Phoenix to watch the Cardinals play the Bills in Sun Devil Stadium. You probably have no idea that I did do that, but it was the first time I've seen the Bills play, and so it was a Sunday night game, I believe, and so first of all, we didn't know what we were doing. Like, it's our first time like flying alone without our parents or anything, and so we got to the we landed and we're like, all right, we gotta get to the hotel, and like, are we gonna take a cab? There was no Uber back then because I'm old, but then there's this giant limo sitting there, and we're like, hey, how much for the limo ride? And he was like, here, it's this. I was like, yeah. So we took a limo as just
awesome.
5 college kids. And anyway, went to the game, and it was awesome. But Henry Jones was a safety on that Bills team, and we're the Cardinals score late, and they're going onside kick. And it was the first time I've ever seen an onside kick return for a touchdown. I remember just being in the stands, a little nervous, like but it was just, like I said, it was fun to be with friends, and it was also fun to see the Bills play for the first time in person, and then of course they seal it with an onside kick return there. So for me, it was a regular season game. I've been to see the Bills several times in several different cities. Like last year, I went to the Jets game, and it was cold, and it was awesome. It was the last game in the stadium, and so the nostalgia there. They brought back some of those '90s Bills. Thurman Thomas, my hero, Jim Kelly, some of those guys were there. But as far as the game itself, let me go with that December 19th, 1990 game there at Sun Devil Stadium.
Okay, awesome. Yep, man, that was fun. You end up in a limo. That's awesome.
I felt really out of place as a bumpkin.
Well, I felt bad for I know you don't want to probably me to bring this up. I felt bad for the 4 Bills. I didn't feel bad for them twice, but as a whole, the whole body of work after 4, man, that had to be rough. But
apparently Netflix is coming out with a story over the Bills and the Bills Mafia, and just the longevity of pain and suffering, but also the optimism of the Josh Allen era. So I'm looking forward to seeing when this Netflix thing comes out, because I know I'm biased, but there's a lot of heartbreak in that town about the Bills, and I pray for civility if the Bills ever win a Super Bowl, because that town will come unglued. So that's always going to be my hope every season. But I'm looking forward to that as well. But I appreciate your sympathy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And it's real. It's real. I was glad the Cowboys won, but I felt bad for you. Okay. Well, Kevin Carlson, remember Kevin?
Yes.
Trainer? Well, he sent in a statement.
Oh,
Vikings will win the Super Bowl this year.
Okay, is that with Kyler Murray as the starting quarterback?
I'm assuming so. I mean, I love Kyler Murray,
okay.
I don't know if I agree with Kevin's statement or not. I don't really know a lot about the Vikings, what else they got coming back.
That's a solid team. Don't get me wrong. And I actually, random situation, Marcy and I, speaking of Marcy Bergman, we randomly went, because my brother works for the airline. So sometimes we just had the opportunity to let's go find a plane and let's go somewhere. We ended up in Minneapolis a few years back, and I swear we didn't even know, because we got there on a Saturday, went and hung out, and I was sitting at an establishment, and I was like, "Hey, the Vikings play tomorrow." Like, we literally just let's just go. And that stadium, by the way, is really cool. Those fans are awesome. That downtown area is really cool. But we went to a Vikings game, and they did the whole skull thing and the traditions, and a cool environment for just the average football fan. You ever had a chance to get to a Vikings game? It's really cool. I enjoyed that experience, but I don't know. Carlson, he might be a homer. He actually looks like a Viking, like he, came over on one of those boats with Leif Erikson. But that's as blonde-headed as an individual as I remember, besides my own son. But I just don't know enough. I do know that the Bills play the Vikings on a Monday night game this year. So, Kevin, we'll have to make sure that we exchange some comments prior to that, and hopefully after for me.
Maybe that week we get Kevin to jump on with us for a few minutes.
That
Thursday night.
You're waiting on me. You're backing up.
Yeah. Hey, we're taking any and all guests, folks.
Yes, sir.
So, Kevin, we're not saying no. I just don't know enough about him. I love the quarterback.
Duly noted.
That guy.
Duly noted.
Yep. Okay, this one is probably more for me, and it's from my friend Candy Taylor, who I worked with several years ago, a good friend of mine. Why did the Sooners pick up Jaden Ott for $1 million and him not play? Was it really all about injury, or was he DeMarco Murray's pet project? What's the real story here? Candy, I don't have any idea, to be honest with you. That is the biggest. Are you familiar with the Jaden Ott story?
I am not.
Okay.
I am not.
He's a guy OU spent a lot of money in the transfer portal to get him from California, and he played in probably 3 games this year.
Wow.
Candy, I can only speculate because I'm not inside the program, but it's a mystery. It really is. I don't get it. I've heard stories, through sports talk radio and whatnot. Him and DeMarco actually didn't hit it off. I don't think he was DeMarco's pet project. I do think he had a legitimate injury early on, but I think as the season went on, I don't think the kid wanted to play and risk further injury. That was kind of my take, and just the feeling I got from people that I listened to. OU Insider has a podcast, a couple of guys pretty knowledgeable, and I just don't know how serious he was about being here. I know he is kind of a villain when it comes to OU fans right now because of how he handled himself and how he handled not getting on the field. The last game he played was against the Kent State Golden Flashes the week before the OU Texas game. He might he might have gotten in on special teams later in the year, but he was just never. He looked great in the spring. He looked great in fall practice. Had some kind of a soft tissue injury, and he just kind of disappeared. And it's the biggest mystery that I can think of, other than since the Marcus Dupree thing back in the '80s. But I don't know. I wish I had an answer for you, but I don't. So,
yeah, it just sounds like there's some behind the scenes stuff that we'll never hear. You know what I mean? May have mouthed off. He didn't put the brand ahead of his own, personal goals. And then possibly as an investment in himself, was extra cautious, a la Darren Peterson for Kansas basketball. Every time he stubbed his toe, his manager, whoever in the stands, was telling, hey, go ahead and check out of the game. And I can't imagine coaching in that type of atmosphere, but sounds like there's probably, some things that happen behind the scenes that coaches are like, no, we're done with that. So hopefully that's wrong. Hopefully that young man turns it around, because certainly believe in everybody and their talent. Yeah.
He's got some talent, but I don't know. He's like I said, he's a villain in Norman, that's for sure. Okay, real quick, see if we can get these last three. Mike Bishop, longtime friend of mine from a long. I got a lot of those.
Coach
I'm 61 years old.
Coach Bishop, good guy.
You know Mike Bishop?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't know that.
Go.
What can the Rangers do to improve their offense? They apparently won't add to the budget, so they might have to move a pitcher. Yeah, the Rangers won today. They're a game under 500, and they're a game out of first. They're not very good right now, but they could very easily win that Western Division.
Yeah, and with the division that tight, and I'm certain they probably have some money if they wanted to start thinking about bringing in somebody for the stretch run. Like, if you're still in it, like, why not? Because they're still in it. Like, they really are. Like, I can't say that about my Jays, but I did look the other day because we were talking about how bad your offense was, and then I looked and it was like, wait a minute, like the 26th worst offense in baseball was the Jays, and the 27th was the Rangers, right? And so it was like, man, we're rooting for two pretty feeble teams at the plate, but I don't know. I think somebody's got to get hot. I think it gets contagious. For instance, Vlad Guerrero for the Jays. I mean, at one point about a month ago, he was probably about 340, 345. I bet his average has dropped 50 points, and it's no coincidence that the Jays have been pretty bad in that same amount of time. So sometimes it's just one guy, like even in baseball, one guy. And I'm looking at you, Corey Seager. I know you're watching the program. There's got to be something else. If he starts getting hot, next thing you know, like they're pitching around him, they're pitching to the next guy, and you got runners on base, and now doubles become RBIs. And I think, to me, like, yeah, you need a bat and to step up, and if you hang in there long enough, go get you another one. Like, let's go. Doesn't matter what your record is, as long as you get in the playoffs. It doesn't matter what your record is. So they've got a little bit of advantage there if they want to go and take advantage of that.
Yeah, you never know when you're going to go on a run. And Corey Seager is not with the team right now, by the way. He's back home, but he's got a back issue.
Well, that tells you what I know about the Rangers, and I'm sorry about that.
No.
Yeah.
No,
yeah, and
fine,
it could be somebody who's a little bit more obscure to just get hot, like a Marcus Semien, who, I know he's not with the Rangers anymore, but somebody can get hot and then carry your team for a couple of weeks, and that can kind of spark some of the other guys in the lineup. So we'll see.
Well, and I think their next 7 games are against teams that are below 500, so they have a chance to make a little bit of a run here to get,
there you go,
to create some space. But okay, last one. This was kind of anticlimactic. From Randy Webb, got to get Wemby in foul trouble, go right at him. What do y'all think? I mean, he's
right, because if you saw the Thunder, Randy, that's a good point. If you saw the Thunder, once they got past the guy guarding them, they weren't even challenging Wemby, right? There was a couple awkward, 8-foot runners that nobody ever practices. I do think you got to get into their chest. I think especially like Jay Will, who's got some size, he's 6'8", and of course Chet. Let's go ahead and get into his chest a little bit, and even if you miss a shot or two, maybe you get a couple fouls, and they start maybe switching to a zone, or they start maybe putting him a little bit more maybe on the 4, but he's just standing right in the middle of that paint, and he's deterring any type of drive, and that's going to force Thunder to make 40% of their threes to stay in this thing. But why not? Because what happened on Monday, especially late, that's not going to carry it. So I think you're right. Get into his chest. He's not going to take a charge. So even if you have to sacrifice a possible offensive foul, just to kind of send a message, maybe to get a little bone bruise in there somewhere, get him off his spot a little bit. Easier said than done, man, because that dude's a condor. And even when he's backing up, he can still block shots. He's pretty remarkable. So, but try something different. I'm with you.
Yep. That's it. That's all the questions. Man, that's all we got tonight, folks. Man, this was fun, especially that first 30 minutes or so. And we went a little long. We're an hour and 40 minutes in, but part of that's my fault. I wanted Spencer to come on with Martin, and that kind of extended that segment about 10 minutes. So, but that was well worth it. Thank you to Martin Chase. Big thank you to Martin Chase and for Spencer for jumping on with us. And this was a good one. Anything on those two, Grant? That was awesome. That was an awesome.
No,
segment.
That's what it's about. It's the brotherhood, and it's cool to see that it hasn't gone away. 30, 40 years later, hasn't gone away. No, that was really cool.
Not at all. Bergie and I talked earlier in the week, and we are, I guess late last week, we are going to try to line up some guests as we go through the summer months, so you guys don't have to hear us talk all the time. We've had 2 guests so far, and both of them have been awesome. We don't have one yet for next week. Not saying that we won't have one, but I'm going to reach out to a couple of people. In 2 weeks, we have former Major League Baseball player Butch Husky that will be joining us on the extravaganza here. So looking forward to talking to Butch.
That's awesome.
Got a couple of good ones lined up for later in June. I'll tell you more about those as we get closer. One of them is a confirmed date. The other one, pretty well-known dude.
Working on it.
Pretty well-known dude, and he's going to come on. I just got to get the dates nailed down. But anyway, thank again, subscribers. Thank you so much. All the comments, all the likes and stuff, and all the viewers, we appreciate it. And all those family members that we have. No, it's not just family members. It's a little bit of everybody, but we appreciate you so much.
Yeah, it's awesome. You guys are and like I said, we're just 2 guys just having a good time. This is what we enjoy doing. So the fact that we get to share it with some people that may have an interest, it's very appreciated. We're not doing obviously this for any type of monetary thing. It's just something that we like I said, we just enjoy. We've been enjoying doing this for 40, 50 years, I know. So thank you guys for just tuning in and letting us know how interactive, questions, comments, keep those rolling in.
Yes, please. And that was like the question and answer awesome here at the end. That's awesome. Those are some really good questions.
Yep.
A couple of them kind of challenged me a little bit, but we're having a blast doing it. We're going to keep doing it. I don't care if we get down to 3 viewers, we're going to keep doing it. But no, that's not going to happen. We're going to keep growing. Bergie, final thoughts?
Hey, just want to thank Robin Kirby for the Eagles hat there. It's something that I'm very proud of, and she did a great job, so thank you for that. Go Red Devils. Remember, Red Devils, we got this. And my daughter's graduating high school tomorrow, so I'm very proud dad and want to make sure that I shout out to my lovely daughter, Addison Bergman. She's the love of my life.
Congratulations to her. Congratulations to all graduating seniors, but especially to your daughter. Mm-hmm. That's awesome. That's a big moment. And moving on, where's she going? North Texas, right?
She's gonna go to North Texas and do some damage over there. Yes, sir.
Okay, Mean Green, Denton.
No, let's go. Let's go.
All right. Well, we're gonna wrap it up so we can go watch the 4th quarter. Ooh, it's a tie game now.
Okay.
Bergie's gonna go be nervous, and I'm gonna go enjoy some basketball. Thanks y'all again. For Bergie, I'm Kirby. 2 Okies getting it done. We will see y'all next week. Have a great night.